the red peninsula of Scandola has collected titles, becoming the most beautiful integral reserve of France and a protected marine environment. No roads, no construction, not even a path. Only a cathedral of nature, which Jean-Marie Dominici protects without any concessions.
If you like, I feel I have a mission to accomplish, and that mission is to make Corsicans and the wider world aware that we have a paradise beside the sea. And until I have achieved that goal, I won't be happy. The problem is that we have a paradise, but we can't go there. Humans have failings which mean they will go against this paradise. It says in the Bible, and other writers have said it too, that paradise is so close that we can't see it. And that's Scandola. Paradise is here, but you can't see it.
The treasure of Scandola is sometimes only a flower, like this one. Omeria solirolii is unique to Scandola. It's only found in these rocks along the shoreline, a few dozen meters from the sea. It's so rare that academics from Brittany and Corte have studied it, identified it, categorized it, and finally tagged it. The nature reserve of the Scandola Peninsula includes the sea as much as the land. Without the presence of humans, corals, sea fans, spiny lobsters, and shellfish have created their own underwater kingdom and prospered, along with groupers, moray eels, red mullet, sargo, and many others.
This site is where we have the largest number of groupers in the Mediterranean. There are 700 individuals spread over nearly 40 hectares. It's remarkable. These individuals weigh over 30 kilos, 30 to 40 kilos. These are big species: barracudas, groupers, corbfish, several species of sargo, new species like the royal moray eel, Myteroperca rubra, coral. Coral is very much present in the reserve because it's a well-protected area.
Red coral is a fragile animal of calcium carbonate. In these pure waters, it flourishes better than anywhere else in the Mediterranean, at about 10 meters below the surface.
When the Scandola Reserve was created, the first task was to take an inventory of the marine reserve. For example, I said there are 700 groupers today. Back then in 1975, there were 4 groupers. Of course, people used to fish using explosives, fishing wasn't controlled or regulated. That had a major impact on resources.
On the rocky outcrops of the peninsula, the osprey comes to feed its family. This rare big bird of prey is the emblem of the reserve. The osprey was the reason for the creation of Scandola. Although it's protected, its survival is still uncertain, as in the summer, the silence of the peninsula is broken. This mountainous extremity is now the flag bearer for the natural environment in Corsica. Scandola is one of the best known and most visited natural sites on the island. In summer, over 700,000 people come in boats to admire this icon of nature. The main attraction is to come as close as possible to the rocky outcrops where the last ospreys are nesting. Disturbed as they sit on their nests, the pairs leave to find a quieter place in the Mediterranean. With fortifications right up to the end of the peninsula, Bonifacio was a fortified outpost, with areas that were entirely annexed to the military. In the 1970s, this region was once again united with the creation of a marine reserve between Corsica and Sardinia for the protection of biodiversity. The jewel of this nature reserve in the Strait of Bonifacio is the Lavezzi archipelago, a conservatory for fauna and flora specific to the Mediterranean.
If you have to sum up the richness of the Lavezzi, it would be difficult. It's a landscape, a particular geological formation that some people think is a bit like Brittany. It's a well of biodiversity, both in the riches of its flowers on the land and the riches of its birds, particularly its seabirds.
These Coris shearwaters that wail like infants nest at night under the jumble of rocks. The little albatross lands here to reproduce before returning to spend the winter at sea off the coasts of Africa. For 35 years, ornithologists from the nature reserve have monitored this bird using rings and GLS recorders, which have given them precious knowledge of this great traveller.
Write down the GLS number. In October, the birds will leave, totally instinctively. All the birds in the nest around us will move towards the sea and all fly away. With a beat of their wings, they'll all fly off across to Gibraltar. We have some extraordinary data. One bird with a sensor was tracked every 48 hours. It stopped in the Balearics, and actually it waited for a depression to get a push past Gibraltar, and it ended up in the south of Morocco 48 hours later. We say thank you for what it's done for science. It's a poetic symbol, a symbol which intoxicates sailors, a symbol which is something quite exceptional and is part of our heritage. It's also a very good indicator of the state of health of the sea and of the wildlife on these islands.